Washington is recognized for 2 minutes.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, and thanks to the Ways and Means Committee for their excellent work on the trade agreements and, most importantly, on trade adjustment assistance. And I agree with the comments of my colleague from Wisconsin about why this program is so important. I mean, the bottom line is TAA and the trade agreements themselves are part of figuring out how to help American workers and the American economy compete in a very, very difficult global economic situation. The amount of skills that our workers need now are vastly beyond what they've needed in previous generations, and the need to update them constantly in order to continue to be competitive and continue to be employable are a significant challenge for American workers, and this program is one way to give them help, to help get them the training and the skills that they need to continue to be employable. And it is incredibly important for our workers, and we've heard the statistics about the number of workers in our country who have benefited from these programs. But I also submit to you that it's critically important to our economy. Our economy needs a skilled workforce enabled in order to compete. Trade adjustment assistance is one way to help our workers get those skills that they need. Certainly it helps them, but it also helps our businesses and our overall economy. And I, along with my colleague from Wisconsin, I support all three trade agreements. I believe trade is critically important to growing our economy as well, and it's simple math. 95% of the people in this world live someplace other than the United States of America, but the United States of America is responsible for 20% of the world's consumption. If we're going to grow, we need access to other markets. Korea, Colombia, and Panama are good steps in that direction to give us access to those other markets so that our businesses can have the possibility of growing their businesses and taking advantage of the growing economy. It has been Asia and other parts of the world that are growing the most. We need access to those markets. Trade agreements like this give us that opportunity. But as I have said for the entire 15 years I've been in Congress, that alone is not sufficient to protect American workers and our economy. Access to overseas markets on its own isn't enough to take care of our workers as they should be taken care of. They need training, and we need the enforceable. Can I have an additional 30 seconds? I don't know if you have any more time. Jim, do you have 30 seconds
yes.
to mark it up?
The gentleman would like an additional minute. Go ahead.
Certainly.
Gentleman's recognized for an additional minute.
And that's the other critical piece of these trade agreements that I want to emphasize. For the first time, not the first time, actually, we did it in Peru. Thanks to the leadership of the gentleman from Michigan, Mr. Levin, and Mr. Rangel, and others, we have enforceable workers' rights in all three of these agreements. There have been justifiable criticisms, for instance, in Colombia, of the ability of workers to organize and collectively bargain. But this agreement will give us the enforceable ability to make sure that they do. If Colombia or any one of these countries doesn't live up to the ILO standards and requirements, this agreement now gives us the ability to use trade sanctions to make sure that they do. That is an incredibly important step forward to protect the workers in this country. It needs to work together. Access to overseas markets through trade agreements and adequate protections for our workers so they can compete in that environment. With TSA, with the workers' rights provisions in these trade agreements, I believe that all three trade agreements and this TAA bill do this, and I thank the Ways and Means Committee, both Republican and Democrat, for their work in making this happen. Thank you.